Hi, my name is Philip Bertling, and if you're watching this video, I'm your 6th grade STEM teacher for the first quarter, and I wanted to welcome you in class. I made this video for a couple reasons. In case you're absent and you weren't here tonight, you'd be able to kind of see what the class is about, give you some information, and just kind of get an idea of what we're going to be doing in class. So let's go ahead and start. So what is STEM? It's an acronym for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We're going to be using all of these inside the classroom, and we're going to be running and moving through this thing called the engineering design process. In this, we are going to ask ourselves a question. Now, I'm going to pose the students, you, a problem, and it's going to be your job to identify what that problem is, identify what the constraints are. So, what is it? How can you solve the problem I'm presenting with you? But there's constraints with it. So I might give you specific materials you can only use to solve the problem. Well, that's a constraint. You can't go off and use whatever materials you want. So you identify a problem. You figure out what your constraints are. And then you go through this process where you imagine, you do some research and find out more about what this problem is and get some background information. So once you have that information, you can then move on to this imagine step where you can imagine possible solutions. And then from there, you can plan out and design yourself a solution. Because an engineering design process, and STEM in general, whatever your problem is that I pose to you, you are engineering yourself a solution. You're making something solve that problem. And then from there, you build it, you test it, you look at the outcomes of how well it worked. And if we have time, which I like to build into class, we try to come back to the drawing board and improve that design. And then we, of course, share that in the end. And this process, from start to finish, will take a week. We'll take one design, one problem, and we'll see each other every day for the week, and we'll work through that problem. And by the end of the week, we'll have ourselves a really great design. So that's the engineering design process. Our STEM curriculum, kind of in a nutshell, we build, creating, exploring, lots of hands-on learning. I mean, everything's hands-on. This is where we're building stuff. And we're engineering solutions. We collect a lot of data. We're exploring, working cooperatively in groups. So if you're someone that likes to work solo, you're going to have to get over that, because you're going to be working in a group, and it's going to be I think working collaboratively in groups is kind of one of the most important things we can build, in the classroom. Because as you grow up, you're going to have to collaborate with people, and I want my students to be able to work with people, whether that they like them socially or not. You still have to work with them, because we as adults do that every single day. And I want them to have that skill set and be able to do that. We're problem solving, we're communicating, and we're just building these skills that I feel are really 21st century skills that is going to push them a real long way into being more marketable and expand their thinking. Now, we have design criteria, we have constraints like I talked about before. When we're working, we're going to think and behave scientifically. We're going to ask questions, we're going to do research, we're cooperating, again, communicating, we're working in groups. There is a safety thing, and I'm going to have a contract go home next week, or if this week, I'm trying probably next week, depending. And basically, you just need to sign it and send it back. Understand that, hey, we might be using hot glue guns. We will be cutting things. So, you've got to use common sense when we're working with those things and be not just safe for yourself, but for safe people around you. And if I don't have a contract back for you saying, hey, I understand that these things, these can harm you. If you're not wise with it, then I'm not going to let you use those in the classroom. So just have to make sure we have an understanding written on record that we make sure we're safe in the room. So again, talking about a moment in the life of a STEM student, we have these design challenges. We have projects. Sometimes I give you a budget. Sometimes there is computer lab coding. I do a lot of stuff in Google Classroom, so you'll have to be utilizing your Google Classroom account, being familiar with that, because I will put things out there. Grade-wise, I'm going to be straightforward with you. If you come in and you do the work, and you work well with your group, and you give me 100%, it's a really great effort. Whether or not your design works in the end or not, if you just give me 100% and try and effort, you're going to do awesome in this class. You're going to get an A in this class. Right? It all comes down to effort and what you're putting into it. If you slack off, if you're not participating in your groups, if you're not holding up your end of the bargain, where in your group you differentiate the different jobs of different people, and everybody's doing their job, but then they're having to pick the slack up for you because you're not doing what you're supposed to do in that group, then your grade's gonna suffer, and I'm gonna hit you on it. I'm gonna hold you accountable for it. So don't walk into the class thinking it's gonna be automatic A. But if you give me the effort and you try, yeah, you're gonna do wonderfully. Let's keep on going. And we talked about that. I already talked about the homework and everything. Supplies, donations. Guys, I need lots of materials for this class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be asking you for supplies. And I'll probably send that with, pieces of paper at home, notebook. A lot of times I'll push it on Remind. So let me talk about Remind and how I use the Remind app. I'm a little bit different than most teachers. I do use Remind. So let me bring up something a little different here. And I'm going to go up to here. So this is contact information for me. If you're going to be in my STEM class, what I'm going to need from you is I like to have seamless communication with the house and with my students and their parents. And like I said, students and parents. The students can sign up for this as long as you have permission. It's going to ask you as long as you're 13 or older. I'm fine with it as long as the parent is okay with them signing up. But what this gives you the ability to do is text me if you have some questions or concerns that are going on, or if you just you want to ask me anything. It comes as a text to me, and it will come back to you as a text. But it's using the Remind app. I'll try to answer as quickly as I can. It also lets me talk to you. So if I have some supplies needs, or maybe we have something coming up like a project or whatnot, I can send this out to you and you'll be notified of what's going on in the classroom as well. But it's just a great way to communicate. Now you can always email me on the email that I have right here. You can always call the school here. But I will tell you, the Remind app is probably the #1 way, easiest way for us to communicate. And again, if your student wants to communicate with me on that and they have a phone and it's okay with you, I'm fine with that as long as they have your permission to do that. But that's kind of a nutshell in the STEM, what we do. We're going to have a great year. It's going to be so much fun. And I look forward to seeing your students in the classroom. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Remind or call or email me. And I'll talk to you then. Have a good day.